Hi everyone! If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you guys had a good one and it was filled with love and food and warmth and all that good stuff. This week I will be talking about my own art and what I do, what I've done over the past couple of years and whatnot. So yeah, it's gonna be about my art. Okay, so the first project that I would like to talk about is one that was made in 2015 while I was in college. This series is called More Than a Cat. Basically the class was called No Place Like Home, and it was instructed by Joseph Maida. And basically the parameters of the class was like, you know, talking about domesticity and, you know, what we consider home. And that was actually the final project, answering the question, what do you consider home? So this was, you know, this was quite simply, More Than a Cat was my first in-depth like exploration into identifying and examining, you know, what I consider home and how my home life was. It was also the first time that I started incorporating, you know, past writing and text into my work, which was kind of, I don't know, groundbreaking for me. But, and overall, it was basically a really cathartic series for me, in the sense of like, in the end it became like this thing of like being like, how I break down the title More Than a Cat is basically 3 different ways. I won't go any further than this, but it basically means I am more than just a pussy, I am more than just a musician, and I'm more than just a lion. I'm gonna leave it at that. So yeah, I think it's the strongest work that I have thus far, and it means a lot to me. So, and it took me a long time to, it took me about like 2 years to actually put everything together. So yeah, it means a lot to me. Additionally, all you really need in terms of like information that I am comfortable giving about this series is, all you really need is like the first image. If you go to my website, I'm gonna post it here, but yeah, if you look at the first photo, that is the layout to my life up until I was 20 or 22-ish. Yeah, it's just a literal map, my version of a map of what has transpired in my life thus far, in terms of things that have really influenced or affected me in some way. How this idea or this layout came to be was, I was a teenager watching TV, and I don't know if it was a cat food commercial or something about cats, and then I thought to myself, you know, oh, cats have supposedly 9 lives, blah 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 blah. And I thought, like, what if that applied to humans? And if so, why should it only be 9? Why can't it be as much, you know, as the person needs, or, you know, whatever. And I thought about it, and it kind of like started itching away at my brain, like thinking about this and whatnot. And yeah, I basically came up with this idea of like kind of a rebirthing, like a shedding, or yeah, like the best word that I can use is rebirth, like and that idea happening over and over again after something traumatic happens, or after something wonderful happens and life-changing happens, or something. And got a tattoo of it. I got my tree of life. First tattoo I ever got. I have 5 right now, or 4, excuse me, 4. But yeah, that is where my tattoo idea came from. That's where, you know, the layout of my life came from. So I'm tying it all together. Alright, so pretty much the rest of my work is compiled of portraits and street photography. The first one I'm going to talk about is portraits. When it comes to me, I am not the type of person to really set up much. I mean, the best that I set up is the music and the seamless and the chair. Like, that to me is my base, and that's music is like 50-60% of that. So setting the mood and the environment is what's most important to me. It's really up to the subject to kind of fill the rest of the space with who they are and their personality and what we're going for, I guess, or what the assignment is. I don't like saying that phrase, the assignment. Like, I don't really like looking at my work as, you know, the way that I look at my work is extensions of myself or extensions of my encounters with people or my environment. I don't really like to look at it as an assignment. But a lot of great portraits that I have really stem from having a connection with people, whether it be long-term, whether it be short-term. The first person in terms of long-term, well, I'm going to be talking about long-term relationships, but the first person and the most recent is my boyfriend Clev. Taking photos with him or of him has always been spontaneous. It's always been a lot of fun, and there's just been no boundaries and no rules. And that's the type of honesty that I'm going for. That's the type of photography that I'm going for, is just being really spontaneous and not really having too much of a plan. Because with me, like, if I over plan, then this joy and the fun just gets sucked out of it. Like, I like to still have a strong level of leaving the universe up to bringing to me or to the environment, you know, what it has to offer. But when it comes to my boyfriend Clev, both 2016 and 2017 photos were completely spontaneous. The 2016 photos were spontaneous in the sense of me wanting to have intimate photos of him, just because I'm gonna be repeating this a bit, but a lot of what photography means to me and how I relate to it, or yeah, just really what it means to me, is that it is a preservation of time. I am all about preserving memories and honest feelings for whatever moment and time in space that I was in at that moment. And side note, but when it comes to my writing and my poetry, I don't like to go back and edit, you know, look back and edit my work. I leave it as it is, because in that moment, whatever I was feeling, whatever I was writing was true and honest to myself. And I don't want to taint that or change that. And that's translates into my language of photography, because I just feel like I don't know, it's just photography is all about preserving realness and honesty for me, as with my writing. But I'm blabbing, but and then the 2017 photos excuse me, came from me being in a little bit of a sour mood, you know, feeling a little, you know, of the depression coming in. And he wanted to uplift my mood, and he was like, let's go out and take photos. And I was like, okay, like, and it was like, I don't remember what time it was, but it was like, it was getting late, and I was just like, you know, I wasn't opposed to it, but I was just like, this isn't gonna make me feel better, but I had a really good time. Alright, so the second person that I would like to talk about in terms of like long-term relationships and people that I've photographed is my grandfather. That should be obvious in terms of, you know, why I would want to preserve that. But just deeper than that, our relationship was full of so much laughter, so many oysters, like, and he has just been a true father figure to me, and a provider, and a constant, and that is just something that I'm trying to gain back. And he just, you know, I wanted to preserve my image of him, and that's why I photographed him. Because I knew he was sick. I didn't know that it was going to happen again. But nonetheless, these photos were taken in 2015. And yeah, it was just really trying to have something tangible and have something that I could look back on and know that in my heart of hearts I did the right thing. And I have proof of our existence and our memories.